All right, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Puzio. I'm back with another Urban Heat video, and this time I want to go into further depth on Urban Heat. I want to have a conversation, about this game because I've been pretty addicted and I've been playing this game a lot lately, dumping a lot of hours just playing ranked. So I've been putting some real time into it, into Urban Heat, and I wanted to sit down and actually talk about it, not just from watching it but from actually playing it and seeing how it really feels, match to match. And I'm gonna be real, this is one of those games that doesn't fully make sense until you actually get into it. Because on the surface, it looks like just another shooter. But once you play it and you start to notice what it does right and where it's actually lacking. So I have definitely a couple of pros and cons I want to share from my personal experience. So far, let's start with the positive. The first thing that stands out is the gunplay. It actually feels responsive. Like when you lose a fight, it doesn't feel random. You could tell when you get outplayed and when you made a mistake. Another thing is the fact that you're playing against real players, that alone changes everything actually, because every engagement actually matters. You're not actually just farming bots or going against bots. That's why the ranking system, changes everything. But you're dealing with real movements and real decisions with real people. And when the pacing is right, the game actually feels good. So you get into these like moments where everything flows and you're locked in the whole time. And there's also some flexibility in how you play with loadouts, weapons and how you approach fights. So you're not completely stuck playing one way. So far, what it is, there's definitely a solid foundation here. But at the same time, this is where the game starts to show its issues, and these are the cons personally of what I have seen so far. At the same time, the biggest one for me is the pacing. Some matches they feel active and intense, and others feel like you're just waiting for something to happen. And that's inconsistency matters, because that's the kind of thing that makes players lose interest over time. Another thing is that the game, it still feels like it's developing somehow. It doesn't feel fully polished yet. Not broken, just not fully refined, so it's not a bad game. It's just, it feels like it's still building toward what it could be, and I think that one of the improvements this can actually, work if Urban Heat really does want to see their game get to its highest peak. If they really want this game to grow, the pacing needs to be more consistent. Matches needs to feel active more often, not just sometimes. Like more variety in modes would also help, to keep players engaged longer. And overall, smoother match flows so the game doesn't lose momentum, because the core gameplay is already there. It just needs refinement. So there is another interesting thing, one topic I do want to talk about mostly too as well is the console. I genuinely honestly think that a game like this should be on a console. And I'm not saying that's confirmed, just my opinion, but the way it's actually built, fast-paced matches, real PvP loadouts, that kind of gameplay, like that translates really well to console. I'm not saying that's confirmed again, but again, my opinion. But the way it's actually built, I really honestly think that it would transition beautifully to console, if they really do put their mind to it. And when you combine that with pacing, some matches, it will feel active and intense from what I have seen. But, others feel like you're just waiting for something to happen, like I said, which is that inconsistency. And if Urban Heat really does want to see their game reach a peak where, it's gonna, where it will optimize it properly, if they were to even think about transitioning to something like that, to go into console, I think it could grow way bigger than it is right now, honestly. And I'm not, and I'm, like I said, I'm going to be honest. I didn't expect to stick with it like this, but, I keep coming back to it. I really, really enjoy the game a lot, with no hesitation. I've been dumping like an insane amount of hours, and it's like the more I play it, the more I could truly see this game on console or even PC. I just think that Urban Heat needs to just approach this, very strategically. But I really honestly think this game could pull it off on console and PC. Because right now it's only available on mobile, so that would be like a whole different topic from there. So yeah, guys, that's my take on Urban Heat right now. We're coming to the end of the video. If you played it, let me know what you think. And if you're new here, just hit the like button and subscribe, for more daily content. And I will see you in the next one, guys. Peace out.